I have two tropical aquariums, freshwater aquariums. This is my first one. It's a 200 litre tank and it's a community tank, so it's got a variety of little tropical fishes in it, such as guppies, platies, mollies, a corridor catfish, a suckerfish, some little neon tetras, that sort of thing. So it's a community tank. And I thought today I'd just show you my tanks. This is the top of this one. It's got an enclosed lid, a cupboard underneath. I've got some bunny statues on top, of course, got to have some bunny. And I've got some little cardamom plants on the top there as well. So I thought I'd just talk today about my tanks and share with you what I do to keep them healthy. My aquariums have been set up for many years, so they've got a really good established biofilter, which just means that there's good bacteria in the water that helps to break down the fish poo and the excess food and just keep that water healthy. All my plants in the aquariums are live, so I have live plants, which I really like for the fish. They love to hide in them, they like to nibble on them and eat them, and it helps to keep them healthy as well. Now, when you say tropical aquarium, the difference between a tropical aquarium and a goldfish aquarium, say, is that they all have their own need for different water parameters. So with the tropical fish, they need a particular pH, particular GH, and I'll talk all about this more in depth as we go on, but it just means that they need the hardness or softness of their water and the minerals available in the water to be a little bit different. So it's a bit hard to combine tropical fish and goldfish successfully. Goldfish do really well in heated tanks, so that's not a problem because tropical fish need a heated tank, but the water pH and the water GH, things like that are a little bit different, so it's best to either have a tropical tank or a goldfish tank, one or the other, but it's a bit difficult to have them together. This is my second tank. It's a 70 litre one, and at the moment I only have one fish in there, which you can see on the screen there. That one's called Penny, and it is a silver dollarfish. She's not in with the little community, as she can be quite aggressive. The silver dollarfish can be quite aggressive, especially at night time, to the smaller fish. Planning on getting Penny some more friends, as they do really well, the silver dollarfish, in groups of 5 or 6 or more. Otherwise they can be quite shy if they don't have friends. I only recently got Penny from one of my relatives who was shutting down their tank, and they didn't know what to do with Penny, so I said I'd take her in, and also got lots of water snails from them as well, which are really, really sweet to watch. So she shares her tank at the moment with all these water snails. She has a heater and a filter and a tropical setup, just as the other tank does, and yeah, hopefully I will soon have some more of her type in there so she can have some friends, because 70 litres is a very big tank still, so I could fit a lot of fish in there as well still. So you can see the little water snails here, they're so cute. You can see their little mouths moving as they eat the algae off of the glass, and they're very, very sweet to watch. You also can see the thermometer here, so you can see constant temperature, because tropical fish like it to be a warmer temperature, usually about 24 degrees, around that sort of temperature there. To keep the tropical tanks healthy, what you need to do is you need to not overstock them to start with. So you don't want to have too many fish in the one tank. I prefer to give them plenty of room, and that means that waste isn't going to build up too much, and you're not going to have a problem with ammonia, which is the poison in the water from the waste breaking down, being a problem. You need to make sure that you clean your tank out at least once a week. So you need to do a 30% water change once a week in the tank, and that just means taking out the old water with a siphon, putting fresh treated water back into the tank, and that just keeps the oxygen level and the clean water up and keeps them happy. And you also need to gravel vacuum the base of the tank and keep them healthy that way. Now, I have filters in my tank. You need that too, to filter out the waste and keep the oxygen flowing. This one's an Inheim, I think you say it. I love Inheim products, and also my heater is Inheim as well. You don't want anything too forceful for tropical fish. I put I put my filter on one side of the tank, so it's blowing down one side, and it's not going to be too forceful for them. And to keep your glass clean, you can use one of these little magnetised glass cleaners. So it has one piece on the inside, one piece on the outside, and you just rub the outside piece back and forth across the glass, and the inside piece is magnetised to that, and it just scrubs the algae off the glass. So that's a really easy way to keep your glass clean, so you can enjoy your fish and actually see them, which is really nice. Now, you also need to be able to test your water. and make sure that you have healthy water and that the pH and the GH is all safe. So I use these 5-in-1 test strips. They're really easy to do. There's no little droppers of chemicals and test tubes that you need to use, which you can get with some kits. All it is strips, and it just helps you make sure that you've got the ideal water conditions. It's just a quick test that you do once a week just to make sure that everything's still fine, there's no build-up of ammonia, that all the perimeters are still in the perfect ideal perimeters for the fish. So this is the little case the strips come in, and you can see on the back here it tells you all about what it tests for: the GH, the KH, the pH, the nitrite and the nitrate, which are part of the process of the ammonia being broken down. This is what I do. So I grab my little strip here, this is my test strip, and all you have to do, it's not going to focus on my test strip. There we go. So all you have to do is take your little test strip and you just dip it into your fish tank and swirl it around in the water 2 times, just so that it saturates all of that, all of the little test strips on there, little pads on there, and then you can hold it up against your container and you can see the result, and it will tell you what all these levels are reading from your tank. So you can see there what mine are at. I've got nothing. It looks a little bit pink on the screen, the end two tabs, but it's actually not. So I've got no nitrite and no nitrate, which is perfect. I mean, there's been no ammonia build up in there, so that's really good. If I turn it around a little bit, you can see that I have a good 120 in the GH, and I have about an 80 in the KH, which is a really good result. And it's about a 7 in the, I don't know if you can really see, but it's about a 7 in the pH, which is perfect for a tropical community. So I'll show you in a sec what it comes with to read the results. So this is what it comes with to read the results. It's a little bit tricky. It goes into a lot of detail, which is great, but it doesn't have a really easy to read chart as to what is going to be good for a tropical community. So I refer to a different sheet, which I'll show you. So this is what I've printed out from the API website online, and this just breaks it down really easily to see what is the ideal conditions for a community of tropical fish. Each tropical fish has its own preference. So when you're in a community, you've just got to sort of make an average of what's going to suit everybody in there. So I've circled what mine are. So you can see the pH test here, that's a 7, which the blue means that it is in the safe and ideal level. My nitrite is 0, which is great. My nitrate is 0, which is fantastic. My general hardness is at 120, that's really good. And my carbonate hardness is 80, so that's ideal at the moment. So this sheet here tells you about your water results, and it talks first about pH, and pH is just the measure of acidity in the water, and the tropical aquarium of community fish does well at just a neutral level of 7. Below 7 is acidic, above 7 is alkaline. Then nitrite and nitrate should always be 0. It's produced, so nitrate and nitrite are produced in the aquarium by the biological filter. Beneficial bacteria will convert the toxic ammonia, which I was talking about before, into nitrite, which is also toxic, and then that will be converted into nitrate. So an established aquarium should be doing this really effectively, and you shouldn't get a build-up. After that, it has GH. Now, GH a lot of people don't know about and don't really test for, but it is really important. So what GH is, it's the measure of calcium and magnesium ion concentrates in the water, and how available they are to the fish. So that's a really important thing to know about as well. You can't easily reduce GH unless you do water changes and put water back in that has a lower GH. I won't go into it heaps now, but it is still an important thing to know. And then carbonate hardness is also important because that is the measure of carbonate and bicarbonate ion concentrates in the water, and that helps if you have a good stable KH. That's going to also help to stabilise your pH. You don't want fluctuating pH levels because that can be really stressful to the fish. So that's another important one just to keep an eye on as well. So I hope that was interesting. I hope that wasn't too confusing. If you'd like to know anything more about my tanks, or if you'd like to see me do a tank cleaning video on how I clean out my tanks and how I do treat my water before I put it back in, just let me know and I'll be really happy to do that. And until next time, I will send you lots of love and hugs and see you in my next video. Bye!